Hi, I'm glad you're here and I want to tell you a little story. It's a story about a ladder and how to avoid falling off a ladder. The story is about my experiences with a folding ladder like the one in the picture here. You've probably seen similar ladders yourself. Well, when I lived in California, I was putting a TV aerial up on the roof. I needed my ladder to help me. So I got my ladder out and I started to climb up the ladder to get up onto the roof. But guess what? I hadn't fastened the folding parts securely. So what happened was, as I got just over halfway up, the ladder folded up underneath me and I fell off. Now fortunately I landed reasonably well, and although I was quite heavily bruised and staggered around a little bit for a while, I got away without any serious injuries and was able to later get back up and fix the aerial on the roof. So that's part one of the story. But now a few years later, whilst I was at my Utah home rather than my California home, we'd had a bit of snow, and that's me with my little snow thing making a way down the path. And then what happened was we had this house, a nice little house, but what you can't see here is that just around the corner, around here, there is a large carport with a roof that is sloping, but it doesn't slope very much, and so it used to accumulate a lot of snow on top of it, and we'd get the snow drifting onto it, and it was dangerous. And so what was needed was to get up on the roof and shovel the snow off. So out came my trusty ladder. But since I had my original fall, I always made sure that these joints here, when it was opened out or in any position, were securely locked. However, as you are all aware, snow is very slippery, and my ladder was leaning up against the roof and was on the snow, which seemed okay at the time, but when I got about 3/4 of the way up, the ladder slipped away in the snow and I fell down once again. This time I narrowly missed landing with my back on one big rock, which could have probably broken my back, and I missed another with my head, which could possibly have killed me. So I was fortunate again in that I just had some bruises and felt a little bit stupid. So however, I was okay, and I managed to get the ladder and get somebody to help support it at the bottom and climb up, and I got the snow cleared. So that's this little story about the ladder. But what's all this got to do with your business? Well, as you're probably aware, most people fail in their attempts to make money online. Now, most statistics that I see quote an 80% failure rate, but I believe it's a lot bigger, and here are some figures from a recent survey a colleague of mine asked to over 5,000 people that he had on his mailing list. Now, of all these people surveyed, 74.2% said that they'd been trying to make money online for over 2 years. 91.8% of all those surveyed said that they'd made less than $100 in total. Many of them had made nothing, but over 90% had made less than $100 in total, many of them having been trying for over 2 years. Over 40% had spent at least $3,000 on products, training and services and this sort of stuff. And over 11% had spent over $10,000 on products. So these figures actually are much worse than the 80% normally quoted, and also show that most people are wasting vast amounts of hard-earned cash. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now that may shock you, but if you're not making a full-time income in 7 hours a week online, then there's only one reason why not. And that reason is because you do not have an effective planned strategy. So to get back to my ladder story, your goal is to reach the heights that you decide upon in your business, and will take the roof as being your ambition. So your intention is to get up onto the roof. And the plan that you have, the strategy that you have, is like a ladder, and it'll enable you to climb up to the roof. But if the plan is not set on firm, solid foundations, like mine in Utah in the snow, just like the ladder, as soon as you start to add your weight to it, it's going to slip away from underneath you and you're going to crash down to earth. Now, you may be lucky like I was and escape with a few bruises, which may be the same as a damaged ego in this instance. Or you may be badly hurt, causing you to take a lot of time to build your confidence to attempt climbing the ladder again. You may be feeling, maybe I can't do this. Worse still, you may be damaged so badly that you'll never again set foot on that ladder. You may be thinking now that online business is a scam, not for me, thanks. I'll stick with the mediocrity that I know. At least I'm safe there. I'm not going to get hurt. Now, even if your ladder's placed on solid foundations, it may not be correctly assembled. The joints may not be locked in place properly. And once you're halfway up it, you may be thinking, oh, I'm doing pretty well here, I'm getting up great. But just like my ladder in California, when I was trying to put the antenna on the roof, the same results. You'll be crashing down to earth. And so your plan must not only be based on solid foundations, but it must also be rigid and built to stand whatever weight it must carry, so that you can climb it to the roof. Your plan must be structured in a way that will support you and carry you to your goals. So who am I and how can I help you? Well, let's try and keep this a little bit brief, but I started in business with a business studies diploma, mainly because I didn't really know what to do. And then I was employed as an accounts clerk, and I became quickly a company secretary at the age of 19. And as my logistical and organisational skills grew, I became a consultant to major corporations in offshore pensions. That was based in Bermuda. I made a very large income, but I wasn't enjoying the work, so I looked for other employment. I got married and I returned to England, and I became a salesman after trying various other things. And I became a top producer in life insurance, which most people tell you is a very difficult market. And then I moved on to selling office equipment for large companies like Rank Xerox and Nashua Copycat, and my earnings were well over 10 times the average annual wage for people at that time as a salesman. Now, I did this although I never really considered myself as selling. All I wanted to do was just help people find out what their problems were and find a way to solve their problems for them and deliver great value to them. And that's what I believe sales is about. I don't believe it's about fancy techniques and pushing people into stuff they don't want. It's about helping people. So I was having great success with this in sales. I had a good income. But we decided, my wife and I, that we wanted to have our own business working together. And so we started several businesses, which I won't go into now, but I'll tell you about later if you're interested. And they were always based on this same tenet of providing great value and service. Often there were businesses that we really didn't know very much about, but we just went out and we found out what people wanted and needed, and we found a way of supplying that and offering fabulous value. And through that, we built very strong businesses and we generated a good income as a result. I mean, people are happy to pay for things that they believe they're getting great value for. Now, throughout this time, we'd been working on this, but about 1990, I became interested in the power of the mind, and I took several courses and became a silver graduate, a master hypnotist, certified hypnotherapist. And that was another business that I had, and that was great. That was another way to help people. So what am I qualified in? Well, I believe I'm qualified through life and experience in organisation. I'm good at getting information from places, organising it in a way that it's useful. I'm certainly good at sales, although I don't really consider myself a salesman. I just help people solve problems. Mind power, I believe, is one of the most important things that a person has, and it's what separates basically the rich from the poor is their attitude of mind. Entrepreneurship, I've built with my wife several businesses. I think it's about 8 or 10 that we built to very profitable levels and retired from in turn. And more latterly, business consultancy, where I've been able to help businesses both large and small, and I've been able to set my fees at £800 a day minimum, plus expenses. So if somebody wanted my services in LA, they'd have to fly me out there, pay my hotel bills, and then pay me on top of that about £800, which is or more, which is like $1,500, $1,600 a day. So what I did is I took these skills that I've learned, and I recently applied them to online marketing, because people told me that it was so different. I've been told that marketing has changed over the years, but I don't believe it has. I believe some of the tools we have changed, but marketing basically is the same. And so I did a couple of test campaigns with ClickBank, and what I did was generate very quickly $587.44, and that's a check of my a picture of the check for my first ClickBank commission. Now I know that's not a fortune, and it's nothing like the gurus and quick software push button schemes and all the rest of it are talking about, but it's a heck of a lot more than 91.8% of people who've been spending hard-earned cash in excess of $3,000 for over 2 years, and who haven't even made $100 in total in that time. So what the test proved to me was that if I applied the same techniques that I taught to offline businesses, they would work for online businesses. Now, my goals and ambitions have never been to become an affiliate marketer. What I want to do, my goals and ambitions, are to help people, make new friends, do what I enjoy doing, which is teaching people and helping them, and provide great service and value, which I think is one of the things that we should all strive for. And that's why I set up the Make Money Online from Home Academy. Now, my goal for you, through my training, is to get you seeing success and profits fast. But this can only happen if you use the techniques that I teach and show some action in following them. And you have a plan that is optimized for you and based on your goals, your budget, and your experience. One big problem that I've seen in any marketing situation is people think that there's one strategy that fits all situations. Now, unfortunately, that's not how it works. There are many things that are common to all, but it's not possible to have just one strategy that fits everybody. Now, I understand that this may or may not be for you, and that's fine. As I say, there are common areas that all marketers need to cover, and I can take you through these in a step-by-step system so simple a 7-year-old child can follow them, and you can get lifetime access to this training absolutely free. Now, I know some of you may want more than this, so whilst my free membership area is a great place to start, I want to be able to offer a more personalised service to a select few people, and I'll go through that more in the members area. Now, as I said, this may not be for you, so who do I think can benefit from this free membership? Well, this may be just what you need if you have had people doubting you, and maybe you're now afraid to even talk to people about it because you feel they'll just shoot you down. Or maybe you've been told that you'll not be successful and making money online doesn't work and it's just a scam. Perhaps you're tired of failing and have bought a variety of ClickBank products or WSOs, and these may have worked for other people, may have worked for an odd one person, but they've not worked for you and you're still in the same position. Perhaps you're a complete newbie who wants to avoid the pitfalls of buying stuff that just doesn't work and get a plan that will work for you from day one. Or perhaps you're having some success already, but you're stuck at a certain level and want to now expand your business. And we can help if any of these situations fit you. What you'll learn is not some fad or offer that will become outdated or saturated. You'll learn to build a simple but powerful techniques that are evergreen, and so will build your business not just for now but well into the future. You'll learn how to avoid get-rich-quick software and schemes and instead concentrate on a simple step-by-step plan that suits your personal needs. You'll have a plan that works for you to build residual income and create wealth quickly, as long as you're consistent and persistent in doing the things that we teach. And it's all free. Now, as I said, my goal is to make friends and provide unbeatable value, and I believe that that's what this will do. So you've absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain by becoming a free member. So just do it now. Hit the button below and get started on the first rung of your ladder with the assurance that it's strong, stable and stands on solid foundations. Just click the Join Now button below and start climbing with support all the way to the top. I promise I won't let you fall.